Welcome back to Pushing the Envelope because therapy costs too much and John and Ronan just vent into the microphone. Buckle up. It's about to get wild.
Shit, that ain't cheap. That therapy will get you, man. It's $100 a week. Not that I would need it because I'm so perfect and no family kid trauma ever.
I'll be honest with you. I've tried therapy and this truly is like the best therapy. Being
Yeah,
able
I
to
agree.
do this and it's fun and I think it lets out our creative side. So, well, anyways, tonight we're going to talk about illegal immigration, not just in America. We're going to talk about it and, the problem they're facing in Europe right now. I mean, just the other day, I'm sitting there watching. I think I even told you about this. My people from my country in Greece are seriously pushing a boat back into the water with like 80 people on this long boat. I mean, like,
No soup for you.
yup, nothing for you. So,
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. It's
I mean,
you
you
know
have
what's funny?
family in Ireland. Are you hearing anything from them?
Well, yes and no. So think about it like this, right? Not even a year ago, but just like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 months ago, if you voted for Donald Trump, you are a bigot, racist, Nazi who hates immigrants, right? Fast forward till today, every country in the world is now Ireland, Germany, Australia's burning down, Nepal's in flames. Ukraine is fighting, like they're overthrowing their governments because of this shit. But like they don't put that on the news because they don't want you to see that, because they want you to think orange man bad, right? So, but what's happening is that like in England, bro, England is like they're in like civil war, dude, because all of these Muslims have come and like they're coming in at numbers that are like unprecedented. Like they're not stopping. They're just like welcoming them in, and it's like people are getting to the point where like, nah, bro.
I mean, there's that, but there's also something that is crazy. Europeans and Americans and Canadians, the bottom line is they're not fucking enough. And they will tell you straight up, we are having 5 to 8 babies in our Muslim family. What are you going to do when we just overtake the total population?
Yeah.
It's going to be what we want it to be because we'll have the vote
The manpower.
strictly out of numbers, the manpower. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
I mean, it's inevitable.
it's
It's going to
crazy.
happen. All we're doing is slowing it down right now.
It's like Abercrombie and Fitch. Like, are they just like assembly line making these humans? Like, where are these people coming from? Like, how did they come from such a tiny little spot to like in Minneapolis, there's like no Americans, not white people.
Yeah,
There's no
but
Americans.
Obama did that. He
Well,
put all them there in Minneapolis
you
to
voted for
vote
Obama.
for. I did one time.
Judas. Like, what's the matter with you?
Yeah, I was a registered Democrat, and when I opened my eyes and I realized Trump train.
You know what's interesting is we talked on the last episode about our families being immigrants, and I was raised Democrat. Like I remember when Bill Clinton was the president, and my both of my parents are like, dude, my dad would do some crazy stuff for Obama, and then myself, my sister, I don't know how my brother votes, but like we vote Republican. But it's funny, like being an immigrant, you're told that you're supposed to vote Democrat when you're growing up and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna vote Democrat because my daddy told me to. And then you realize you start making money and then you have a family and you think, hold on a second, I'm
Well,
not
no,
voting for this bullshit.
yeah, you're 100% right. It's true. Most Democrats inevitably become conservative Republicans as they get older because they realize like
Their brains grow.
I work way too hard for my money. I want to have a voice in where that money goes,
Yeah.
in the form of taxes. So, I mean, that's the most power we have as just plain Jane citizens is, make it to the polls, go vote red, do what we need to do, and the Republican way is exactly what we want, less government. If all they're doing is focusing on illegal immigration, let them have at it. They're helping us,
Yeah.
you
I'll
know?
tell you what, dude, I was never like, I was thinking about it the other day. Like, all I think about now is politics. Like, everything is related to politics. And then I was talking to somebody, I was like, man, when did that like start? When did that happen? And I start to go back and I'm thinking to myself, like, like when I would go out like for drinks in a bar, like I wasn't like, so anyway, how about the Congress? Huh? Oh yeah. Oh, what about the senators? Like, and now that like I quit drinking, like I haven't had a beer in probably a year, maybe. Like I don't even know the last time I had a beer. But
And you were like a goddamn fish when we
dude,
were when we were 1492 dockside.
12-ounce curls, like bam, bam, part disco, disco,
Dude,
disco.
it was
I
rare
was a party
to
man.
see you walk in the house without, you know, a 30 pack for the weekend or to start the weekend.
That was my jammy jam, dude. I
Do
love
you
me some
remember
Coors
when
Light.
you were watching you were into that kick, The Big Lebowski, you started drinking them
I
White
remember
Russians? Oh my God.
I remember you came home, I was laid up on the ground,
You turned into a White Russian.
right? Jesus,
Like,
I
oh
started
my
speaking
God.
Russian. But,
That was crazy.
yeah, see, look, that just got me off. But yeah, you know where I started getting real political?
Well, wait, before you say that, I'm good with when we go off tangent, just FYI.
Yeah.
You know?
When you know what made me start getting super fucking, what do you call it? Political? COVID.
Well, because you
The
had
way
nothing
that
to do
they
but
the
sit
way
home and
that they
watch TV.
bro, the way that they locked us in like that like
That
really
was
and
eye-opening for everybody.
listen, dude, a lot of people, that shit changed me, man. You know how I was always like the people person and I was always trying to make people happy and then all of a sudden it was just like this it was like it was almost like I don't want to sound over dramatic, but it's almost like they took that part of me away. Like I don't give a fuck about people anymore. I don't care. If you fall out of that chair and hit your head, whatever, dude.
Yeah,
I don't care.
yeah.
But
No.
the and I'm sure it changed a lot of people. Like, hey, you can say hello to your mom from the porch. Make sure the windows are closed. Like, what?
I experienced that in the very beginning because we just didn't know enough. And, you know,
Remember,
Shelly
your
had
dad was sick during
the
COVID.
dude, my dad got COVID and was in the hospital by himself for 2.5 months in complete
I
isolation.
remember that,
That
bro. Like,
motherfucker used to tell me stories before he died. He was like, yeah, when I was in the hospital, I would go crazy and I couldn't explain it. And I was like, what were you going crazy about? And he goes, you want me to tell you the truth? I said, yeah, tell me exactly what happened. And he said, John, I was sitting there and I was hallucinating so vividly with what was going on with the medicines and the this and the that and everything that was happening. I thought, and that's why I was going crazy and trying to break out of there, and they put me in restraints. I thought that the Colombians were rolling up into Holy Cross Hospital right there with a train. Well, if you look out the window of Holy Cross Hospital in Germantown,
yeah,
there is no train station there.
yeah,
He
yeah, I
thought
know.
there was a train station there.
Yeah.
The trains were coming in, the Colombians were coming to get my sister. And he was like, yo, I need to stop this. And they wouldn't let him out of the room.
What?
It's 2.5 months he was going through that.
That's crazy, dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the point of my life where like everything. Well, look, do you remember what we were doing around that time, you and I,
During COVID?
in Frederick at the schools?
Oh my God, yeah.
You remember? So when we were going to like those board meetings and we were
At the
screaming at them,
Department of Education?
yeah, we were in the dude. We were on the radio. We were listen. That's when everything changed, man. When
That's
they tried to mess with the kids, that's when like a light switch went. Nope,
for
not
all
happening.
you out there listening right now. That might have been the exact moment we decided to start a podcast. It was
Yeah,
around then, and it took us 3 years to get to this point. So that's
yeah, but
just
that
crazy.
was
But
that's
that was
kind
the
of when.
moment.
Yep, that's when everything changed,
Yeah.
and it's I don't know. Like you said, like you work hard for your money and then you have children and then you realize like they're trying to either indoctrinate or they're trying to do their own little scheme with your kids and it's like hold on a second, dude. So like you have to speak up, you have to
Ronan,
fight the good fight,
the person who came up with the term the plandemic was a
Mm,
genius. I mean, it's
the
exactly what it
scamdemic,
was.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
scamdemic,
plandemic.
plandemic, you name it. It was written on a piece of paper a long
Well,
time before it happened.
that's how I ended up in Florida was I'm sitting here watching what's his name, Larry Hogan tell me that I can't go get the fucking mail. But then I turn on the TV and there's Ron DeSantis partying on the beach, and I'm like, God damn, I can't do this. We packed our shit up. We called some Mexican, packed this truck up, and we bounced, dude. We sold
Yeah.
the house, and that was it.
I mean, it was pretty quick. I remember I came by right as guys were leaving that morning.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Yeah,
yeah, you had the final cars packed and you were ready to go in those
that's
2
right.
Honda Pilots or whatever you have,
Yeah, I
Passports.
mean, we sat there and watched life continue, and we were like in some I felt like I was like a guinea pig, dude. Like I remember we had to have notes to drive our car to drive. We had to be essential. You remember that? Like you had to have a note from your employer that
Ronan,
said,
I was literally walking up Market Street at 11 o'clock in the morning, just taking pictures with my cell phone of I thought it was cool and artsy, of every business that was shut down. They had their own sign saying, we are closed because of COVID, blah, 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 in their own words, right?
yeah, yeah.
And I was taking pictures of all of them. I have them on my cloud as I'm doing it. This is 11 o'clock in the morning as I'm doing it. Frederick City's finest pulls right up in the middle of the road. I'm walking in the middle of the road. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, taking pictures. He was like, what for? I was like, history? I was like, yo, what are you doing? I'm just taking pictures. It's 11. I said, and I didn't disrespect him any more than that, but I did say that. But I really wanted to be like, dude, like catch me at 11 at night and it's a different story, but this is
Yeah.
the bright day. I
Like a
mean,
Tuesday. Yeah, dude. I'll tell you what,
yeah.
man. It was definitely like a very. I remember when, because I first started getting into riding when COVID happened. I bought my
Oh,
first
that's
bike.
right. You bought that crotch rocket, didn't you?
I had that Ninja, and then I sold the
Yeah.
Ninja and got that Shadow, and then I sold the Shadow and got another CBR, and then I sold the CBR and bought the Iron 883, the Harley. But dude, when I started riding, it was like the perfect time to ever start riding motorcycles. I would get on 70. That's the highway up in Frederick, right? I would get on 70 and I always went in the same direction. I always went towards Thurmont, right? Bro, I would drive like 100 miles an hour on 70 and I wouldn't see a car for like 30 minutes. You remember the movie I Am
Oh,
Legend?
yeah. Oh my God, that was a great movie.
Dude, I would literally ride my motorcycle for a half an hour and not see any life. No cars, no planes. You remember the planes?
Yeah, that was
Dude,
weird.
I've never seen the sky the way that, when they stopped chemtrailing everything, but there was no
For
flight.
another episode.
There were no flights, bro. There were no helicopters. It was like a blue that you see on like AI, and nobody was driving because people were locked in their little cages. That shit was sick, dude. And you know what? I think when people call it the pandemic, I think, you keep hearing, you've heard about the New World Order and the reset shit, right? I think COVID was a test to see like how far could we push these people before they break. And then when they figure out, okay, we can do this, we probably don't want to mess with that, but we could definitely tweak this one up. And it's like, it's like the programming, you know what I'm saying? Like they try things so that you aren't fully scared when you see it in real life.
Yeah, I read somewhere that part of the experiment that you mentioned designed the artificial intelligence or the cameras designed it so that if you covered this up with a mask, they could still see your eyes and
The
get the
biometric.
measurements that they needed to
Yeah.
identify a person, yet
Yeah.
they still have a mask on. And what better platform to test it on than the world?
Yeah.
Like you're going to
Palantir.
get all your data very quickly that you need because that's what it takes is data to write the program and get it to work. So
That's
it's
Palantir.
yeah.
That's the company. It's Palantir. Peter Thiel, the guy who created PayPal with Elon Musk, he has a company named Palantir, and I have a bunch of stock in it. And that's what they do. They do the biometric for the armies and the countries and governments. That shit's real, dude. That shit's crazy. Like when you look at your phone and it unlocks?
People are worried about in this country. This is what's crazy. People are actually worried about the First Amendment, freedom of speech. Man, you should be worried about the digital First Amendment where they'll do whatever they want to you and rape you every which way, and you can't do anything about it.
So that's a good topic right there. Are you familiar with what's going on in China and the UK right now? Have you heard of digital ID?
No, but the most recent thing I heard about China, and I would love to learn more about it, and we can save that for another one, is their robotic systems are the most advanced on the planet. They're like producing robots that, not for war, which I'm assuming they will, but their technology is incredible. So
Let me ask you
tell
this.
me, though, what you're
So
saying.
with the Chinese robotics, do you think they make them with round eyes or little squinty eyes?
Jesus, you know,
Me so sorry. You can delete that or not.
no, or not.
Me Bobby's
That's
mom.
that's going against the
Bobby's
grain.
mom. All right. Hey, I'm just pushing the envelope. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
I hear you.
I'm just pushing it. So this dude is making software so they're doing a thing called digital ID. All right. I'm guessing you're not the smartest man in the world, but I'm hoping you can put the two together. So basically, instead of having like a license, they're all doing this digital ID. And have you ever heard of a thing called a social credit score or a social score?
Yes, China
Y-
is the leader in that in the
Yes.
planet.
The UK, that's God's way of punishing them for taking over Ireland.
You need to
They're
throw
going,
up an Irish flag in that backdrop and then make it official, and you're good.
no, man, that's my country right here. I'm American.
Oh,
But
look at you. Boop.
but yeah, dude,
Oh,
like
wow.
they're going through this thing, and the prime minister or whatever has said, if you don't comply and get this digital ID, you cannot work. Like, it's over. Vietnam, you ready for this? Vietnam's doing it, and they just froze 86 million bank accounts, which I find that might be misinformation because there's only like 92 million people. That would mean
Yeah.
that
I
would
thought
mean like 5-year-olds have bank accounts.
I thought you were gonna say they froze 82 million trans people.
Oh God, that would be awesome, wouldn't it?
They're loaded with trans people in all of Southeast
The
Asia.
lady boys, yeah. But
Lady
see,
boys, yeah.
they're like proud of it. They're like, yeah, I'm a lady boy. Okay, cool. They're not trying to pretend like they're something they're not.
Sure, they don't fight with anybody. They'll take it both ways or give
Literally,
it. Yeah.
literally take it both ways and give it either up the front or in the back. But anyway, so yeah, a lot of these countries are trying this credit score. And what happens is oh, dude, I saw a commercial yesterday and it would blow your mind. And this girl, she's driving her car and she's speeding. She's on her way to go do something and she's speeding. And this radio in her car says traffic violation, negative 70 points. And it says, you're 70 points off of your credit score. And then she goes to get gas and she's pumping in gas and it stops like halfway. And it was like, you've already been allotted your 38 miles this week. Try riding a bike. And she's like, what? And she goes to buy like cheeseburgers, right? And it's like, you can't eat the meat, try mealworms. And it's like, if you're a great citizen, like they give you more. But if you're like us, then you have to eat mealworms.
Well, one of the scores in that system, one of the negatives that the people face are travel bans and public
Yeah.
shaming lists.
Yeah. They're
And
like on billboards.
yeah, I mean, lack of transparency.
Can you imagine just driving down the street on like a first date and you look up and it's like a picture of you and it's like, this dude's a fucking idiot. And you're like,
And you're getting judged because you didn't pay your, cell
child
phone
support.
bill or something. Oh, well, I guess. Well, child
guy's a
support, if you
This
think
guy's a
about it,
deadbeat.
that would make sense to like call those people out. I mean, they
Yeah.
do it to sex offenders. If a sex offender moves
registry.
in, you get notified.
Well, that's
Someone
different.
moved into your area. So
Yeah, that's
no, it's
different.
not
They need to.
different. I think it's the same.
Well, they need to be shamed. Speaking of billboards, you remember when we were coming back from my property and they had that Joe Biden?
Yes.
Yo, that was the best billboard I've ever seen in my life. It's just,
Dude,
like, completely out of nowhere too.
I have a
Holding
picture
an
of that somewhere.
RPG with a turban on.
I have a picture of that
That shit was
billboard.
crazy, dude.
Yeah. Do you remember the guy at the gun shop? Of all places where we would learn about it, it was the guy at that gun shop, and it was like, yeah, some rich guy, he wants to rip that motherfucker apart.
Well, there was and it got put up by, like, a senator or some shit, like, that was
Yeah, that was the
aggressive, dude.
rich guy.
That was super aggressive, like, I remember to the point where we stopped and got out and took selfies with it. We're like,
I mean, honestly, when you think about how long ago that guy was revolutionary.
"Yeah,
Like,
dude."
look how far we've come along now. We're just like, yeah, Obamagate. You know,
Yeah.
during his first presidency, we were very quiet. You get canceled real quick. They started cancel culture. We've mastered cancel culture.
Dude, it makes me
Wokeism is dead or dying.
sick when I have to hear people talk about cancel culture when, like, Aunt Jemima lost her goddamn syrup because Uncle Ben was racist. Like, the Redskins, I saw a dude at
That
the
was
grocery store
ridiculous.
down
All
here,
that was.
and he's over there looking at eggs, right? And I look over and he's got a Cleveland Indians hat on. And, you know, me being a Redskins fan, I was like, hey man, nice hat. And he looks at me like, what? And I guess a lot of people like give him shit about it. Like, oh, you're such a racist, right? And I was like, no,
Yeah.
dude, I'm like, fucking awesome hat, dude. I was like, I'm a
Yeah.
Redskins fan. And he was like, oh, okay, you get it. And
Yeah.
it's like,
He knew.
he was like defensive right away. He thought I was going to give him shit about it. And it's like, you know, how many people made jokes and laughed about Tucker Carlson losing his job, Megyn Kelly, the list goes on. Like they literally like made jokes of Trump
A
getting
man dying.
fired and Tucker, and now all of a sudden
Oh,
people
yeah.
are upset about Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert. First of all, their ratings are dog shit. Nobody. This is probably the latest I've been up in 4 years. But nobody sits around and watches that trash anymore. Like they're
Yeah.
not even funny. Like Jimmy Kimmel, dude.
The last time for me late night TV was funny was David Letterman and Jay Leno.
Yeah,
I could
but
bounce
like,
back and forth from those guys, but that was it.
yeah, I'll tell you what, man. When I moved out to LA in like 2003, 2004, I lived right on Hollywood Boulevard, and I was broke, dude. Like I had like I was super broke.
Yeah, because you lived in
And
an apartment probably for $3,000 a second.
exactly. It was $1,900 for a studio. Like it was crazy.
Jesus.
So I go down the street and I lived right on the corner where Man's Chinese Theater is, where they do like the
Yeah, yeah,
hands and
yeah.
the okay. So I see this big line and this dude's holding a sign and he's like, "Oh, free show." And I'm like, "Anything free, I'm down." And it was the Jimmy Kimmel show. So me and two of my buddies, you know, we hit a couple J's and then went to this show because we were like, oh, we'll probably get to see like, you know, Coldplay or fucking Ice Cube or something of, you know, and we go in and you don't know who the guest is. You don't know who's the singer until you get in because they don't want you to be like, oh, that sounds like a stupid show. I'm not going to go. Right. So they
Yeah.
trick you to come in. And bro, check this out. When you go in, they lock the doors.
Oh,
Like
jeez.
you can't leave.
You know why?
And it's 3 hours long.
Because you're going to A, interrupt recording, and B, they don't want it to have 10 people when they realize how shitty the show is.
They don't want, if they ever pan out, they don't want you to see empty seats. And
Yeah, that's
so
what I mean. Yeah.
so we go in, right? And there's this dude, this little fat bald dude running around. He's like a hype man, right? Like he's running around. He's like, all right, when I say clap, you know, we're going to clap. And when I say this, and you're going to do this and this and this. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what is going on right now? Like, is this guy not going to be funny or something? Like, why do you remember like back in the day when they have like the applause light up in the top roof?
Yeah.
That shit is real. That's where that comes from.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So this dude's like running around. He's like a fluffer in a porn studio.
Oh,
He's like getting everyone excited. And the guest was that dude Sean Ashton, the guy from Goonies. The guy from Rudy. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that guy he was a jerk off. So and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking I'm looking at my boys. I'm like, dude, how do we get out of here? Like this is crazy. So I go to the bathroom. And there's like security guards blocking the doors. And I'm like, I gotta go. And they're like, nah, dude, you ain't going nowhere. So
That's
we
why
had
the
to,
tickets are free.
bro, we had to stay and it went on for 3 hours. And then they had some Bama ass like R&B singing type motherfucker. I was like, "Oh, dude, this
Only in
sucks."
California can they do that to you. Like, how is that even legal?
Yeah.
They're, like, forcing you to stay in a
That's
show.
Hollywood. It's like where they're forcing you to go to Diddy parties and shit and get
Oh my
diddled.
god.
You
Dude,
know, like that was crazy though, because and then I see that he's still on air. I'm like, the guy who like had to pay people to trick me to clap is still on the air 20 something years later. This guy's not funny.
it's been 20 years.
Dude, it's been like 22 years.
My god.
Yeah. So, you
No,
know what I was thinking
thank
today?
you.
How old are you?
47.
47, and I'm 44. And bro, I've known you for almost 40 years. That's crazy.
No.
I was thinking about that this morning. That's a long me know you a long time.
So wait a minute.
What happened? Did you just fucking glitch out there?
No. 1987 we met. Shut the fuck up, stupid.
You're so stupid. You're such a stupid face. Yeah, that's a long time. I
Yeah.
don't know why I keep answering your phone calls. I guess now we're kind of fucking attached at the hip. You know what? You're my heterosexual life partner. That's what
I
you are.
have not been that bad. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that is, it goes into this. So I had a lot of questions and go to hell.
So gay. All right. Well, let's wrap this one up because we could just
Alright.
ramble.
I guess we couldn't
Ladies and
we?
gentlemen, thanks for pushing the envelope with us. Push it hard, push it twice, and keep on pushing, bitches.
Good. That's what we're using for the second episode. I'm not reading an outro. It is that.
Toodaloo, motherfuckers.
Toodaloo.